Hi guys, today we're going to be chatting about why I sold my Chanel 19 bag as well as where I sold it and all the pricing details. Okay, so because I already sold the bag, I don't have it to show you, which I was hoping to do for the video, but I have some footage from when I unboxed it initially, and then I took some footage right before I sold it. So you'll see what I'm talking about as I talk about it. But essentially, why I sold my Chanel 19 bag was because I didn't love it. That's the main gist of it. But for particulars, one, in the year that I had it, I never wore it out for one reason or another, mainly because I wasn't in love with it, so I wasn't sure that I wanted to keep it, so I basically just kept it in storage. And the reason why I don't particularly like it, one, after some while I began to realize that I don't like mixed metals at all. like I'm definitely a gold tone slash actual gold girl. Like, I love gold. All my jewelry is gold. I do not particularly like silver, although I'm not like opposed to it. I think it has its place, but pairing them together, that's like a no for me. And then as I saw the bag more and more, I began to notice, and I noticed this, I didn't notice it in the store, but when I did my initial unboxing, I noticed that it has a gap at the top, like where the flap is. So on both sides, there are gaps. I'm gonna demonstrate with this other bag. This is Chanel Classic Flap in small. So where the flap is here, the Chanel 19 like extended over and there was a huge gap on both sides. Whereas this does not really have a gap. It's a little bit more secure than the other one. So for the Chanel 19, if you like had something small and like held it upside down like so, then the contents would fall out from the side. So I didn't love that. I don't know, like when I looked at it online, etc., like I've never noticed that, but I don't know if it was my particular one or if that's just how they all are, but that wasn't something that I was into. If you have a Chanel 19 bag, let me know if like that is something that you've noticed as well. Other things I didn't love about it, I didn't like I like lambskin, like the leather feels very supple and luxurious, but I was concerned about the wear over time. And I think it's because I've seen other lambskin bags with smaller quilting, and I feel like that might be a little better in terms of hiding defects. But because the Chanel 19 has the large quilting on it, like you can see every little dent slash if you were to scratch it up, like you would be able to see. And I even noticed like right before I sold it, like I took it out of storage, and because the the top handle was hanging forward and it was against the leather, there were like little indentations in the leather. Clearly, like if you store the bag a little bit better than I did, like storing the chain at the top instead, or like putting a barrier in between it, which is what I started to do right before I sold it, then that would prevent that. But just knowing that it was so fragile and easy to dent, like that didn't help. like you know, how I was feeling about it, essentially. Other reasons that I sold it were because of redundancy. So clearly, as I mentioned, you just saw, like I bought a classic Chanel bag, which I absolutely love way better than the Chanel 19. Now, the Chanel 19 was my first Chanel bag that I purchased, and I don't know, I think I didn't have a full grasp of how Chanel works, and I'm sure I don't fully have it yet. I've been to several more Chanel since then, but I don't know, I didn't like, I went in there with only the intention of getting the Chanel 19 because when I looked at the website prior to that, there were no other bags that I saw that I liked. So then my assumption was that what was on the website was what is in the store, and that is like not the case. So knowing what I know now, I would have spent some more time looking at other Chanel bags instead of straight going for the Chanel 19, which I did have some reservations about initially, but you know, I like ignored those reservations clearly when I bought the bag because I was like so excited to have a Chanel bag, and I thought that was one that I would love forever, which clearly was not the case. And then finally I got rid of it because it's basically like money sitting in my closet effectively. And by getting rid of that bag, like I'm trying to make way because I want to buy more Chanel bags, but I didn't want to just have that one sitting there that I didn't love. I have 2 Chanel bags right now, which I love both of them, but I want to buy other Chanel bags in other colors and different styles. So I figured in terms of a collection, like get rid of the one that I wasn't loving. So that in its entirety is why I sold my Chanel 19 bag. Now, when it comes to reselling, like I've definitely sold tons of my stuff online, but I have never sold any of my luxury items before. So I watched a ton of videos / did research on reselling, and I find that people say all the time like, yeah, like I'm selling this back from my collection and I'm doing this and doing that, and they make it seem like they're selling it for a profit, but I think honestly lots of them do not sell these things for profit because based on a few things that I'm going to talk about now. So lots of popular reselling sites are sites that you can actually buy, let's say, pre-owned luxury goods as well. So fashionphile, rebag, there's several others, but those kind of places, they definitely, depending on what you're selling, of course, like they will not give you the full price of what you paid, even if the bag is brand new. So first off, I tried to sell my bag on fashionphile because I saw lots of like good reviews in terms of reselling on them. I tried like earlier in the year and I got a response that was basically, we have too many of that bag in that style, so try again later. So then most recently, like literally a couple weeks ago, I tried again and got the same response. And I looked at the website and there were, I mean, the website doesn't necessarily represent the stock that they have. They might have like a bag stock that's not on the website, but they didn't have a lot of the Chanel 19 bags in black. They had more of the Chanel 19s in other colors than the black variety. So how true that is, I don't know. Honestly, it doesn't matter. It's their business model, so they can do what they like. And then the other place that I tried was the rebag. It's just a rebag, not the rebag, but I tried a rebag and they offered me, I'm gonna tell you because I have the email, but they offered me $3,400 for my brand new Chanel bag. So the bag normally retails for $5,700. So there's like no way I was gonna take a $2,000 cut on the bag. So that was a no. After that, I basically gave up on trying to resell to these online consignment stores because I knew they were not gonna offer me the full price of the bag. So I looked at some other options. I looked at Poshmark. They have a very high selling fee. I believe when I looked last, it was like 20%, and that is like a ton. So in order for you to recoup the cost of the bag, you have to charge significantly over it. And because I basically had a black Chanel 19 bag, which is pretty ubiquitous, I didn't see like that fetching like considerably more than what it cost retail, because you can probably go in like any Chanel. They've been having stock issues lately, but you can go in most Chanels and probably find a Chanel 19 bag in black. So having those high seller fees was not gonna work for me. So anyway, essentially I decided to do eBay for selling my bag. And the reason is eBay historically is not known for like luxury items because they've had so many fake like things being sold on there that you can never verify. Like I even remember like in the past, I bought a pair of 7 jeans when 7 jeans were like a thing, and they were fake, and there was like zero recourse from eBay in terms of like getting my money, etc. So it historically has not had a good reputation for selling designer items, but now they are trying to get into the luxury reselling marketplace because they've clearly seen like there is money to be made. So one of the ways they've been doing that is by lowering the fee for selling luxury items over $2,000. So the fee for that is 9% versus other items that you sell on there, like if you sell a book on there, it's like 14% is the fee. So the fee is relatively low considering, you know, other marketplaces. And then the other thing that they've been doing is the authenticity guarantee, which basically means once you sell your item, you send it off to someone that authenticates it, and then that person sends it to the buyer, which I appreciate, not because I have any concerns about my item, because clearly I bought it from the Chanel boutique. I know it was real, but in terms of the buyer. Like I didn't want the buyer to come back and say this was fake or make up some lie or excuse that the bag was damaged in some way, because the authenticator like checks your listing against what they receive. So I know I'm getting like a neutral party in between me and the buyer so that I won't have any issues with my money. So that is why I chose eBay to sell my bag. Now, in terms of the authentication process on eBay, it's actually automatic and it's free for now. I know when I was looking at other selling places like Poshmark, etc., you had to pay for authentication through the sites, but on eBay it's free because they're trying to establish themselves in this arena effectively. So once you list your item based on the particulars, you will see the authenticity guarantee plaque on your listing, and so will everybody else. So it's easy enough. So once I sell the item, eBay like allows you to buy a shipping label, and the shipping label has a particular code that helps them track the bag and its location in terms of authenticity. So you send the bag to the authenticator, and then the authenticator sends the bag to the actual buyer. So this authenticator, it appeared that they were in Las Vegas, and it seems to just be like a person, or I'm not sure. Like the label was interesting. Like it had a person's name on there, which might have been the actual buyer, and then the address was different. So it might have just been a way to take another step to make sure that the right product goes to the right person. So it had like a person's name and then the eBay code and then the address, and that one was Las Vegas, as I said. I do not know where the actual seller was. It could have, the actual buyer. It might have been the same place. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. But moving on. So I bought the shipping label, and the interesting about the shipping label is I said I was going to send it today because I wanted it, if someone's buying something that expensive, like it would be nice to get it quickly. So I sent it FedEx today, and it had signature required on there because that's required per eBay because of the value of the bag was over $700. So it requires a signature. And then I paid extra for, I'll tell you the specific name. It's called declared value. It's not insurance, but it's just some sort of, a way to increase the liability for FedEx. If something happens to your package, you can get up to a certain amount back. Like if the package is damaged, lost, stolen, etc., and it's FedEx's fault, then you can get the money back. So for this one, you can get up to $5,000 back, but the limit if you buy it in the store is higher. So my bag was more than $5,000, but like I couldn't change the amount to be more than that if I purchased it online. And I wasn't gonna go into the store because I had 2 days to ship the item, because that is what I have in my eBay policy. So I didn't have time to go to an actual store just to set up that extra $800 security. Anyway, interestingly enough, the label cost $77 with all of that. So I think it was like 20 something dollars just with the signature 2 day, and then like an extra $50 something with the effectively shipping insurance, but it's not shipping insurance. But I was not charged for that, so I don't know if it was free somehow with the authenticity program, because I've looked everywhere, like in my PayPal that's linked to my eBay, and I haven't seen a charge or any mention of it. So I essentially paid no money to ship that, which I'm not gonna complain about. So yeah. So after I shipped the item, 2 days later it arrived at the authenticator, and then the same day it was authenticated and then shipped out to the buyer. Now, in terms of pricing, let's talk about that, because I always, I love finances, so I think that's interesting. But the original price of the bag is $8,700, and I will check to see if that's still the price. I think it is. And I bought this purse in Rome, so I got a VAT refund back, and it was cheaper because usually luxury goods are cheaper in the places that they originate. So it was cheaper there. However, I had to pay customs duty, and this was my first time buying anything overseas that was more than whatever the allotment is for customs. I think it's like $800 or something. So I got caught in customs and I had to pay customs duty. So that was something else. So in total, let's see, with the VAT refund, the purse was $5,068. And then with $322 in customs duty, it ended up being $5,390. Now let's get into the eBay pricing. So I priced the bag at $5,800, and that's only $100 over the retail price, and that was basically just for shipping. So in hindsight, I probably could have priced it higher because I didn't think like anyone would be willing to pay significantly over retail for a black Chanel bag. But then thinking more about it, lots of people do not have access to Chanel stores or Chanel sales associates, so the only way for them to get these bags is online. So in that way, I could have priced it higher, but not significantly more so, because I've seen other Chanel bags. Like there was another listing, same as mine, brand new Chanel bag with packaging and tag, etc., and that person was trying to sell it for $6,500, and that one is still on the site. So my bag, I forgot to mention, sold in 2 weeks. So I had the bag on eBay for 2 weeks and then it sold. So I should have priced it a little bit more, maybe like a couple more $100 more, and that might have worked or might not have worked. Like you cannot know things. Like you cannot change things and you can't exactly know. So yes, I might have been able to sell it for a couple more dollars. And the only reason that I'm thinking about that is because I got it, like when I sold it, I made like less money than what I paid for it. So let's get into that. So the thing about eBay is that their fee is 9%, but it's 9% of the entire cost of the bag that the buyer like pays. So that includes taxes and shipping. So that increases the amount of fees that you're paying, even though you're only getting like the amount for the amount on eBay. So say like the 5,800, like that is what you get minus all the fees, but the fees are for like the 5,800 plus the taxes plus the bag. So that's kind of like a sham or a scam. Like eBay like needs to do better with that. Like I don't think like the fees should have to be on the entire price paid by the buyer. So there's that. So I ended up paying more taxes than I originally calculated. But with the fees, I ended up getting $5,237. So in theory, or in actuality, I lost $153. Now, is that the worst amount that I could have lost? No, because as I mentioned before, these other resellers were trying to quote me $3,000 for the bag. So I could have lost significantly more, and I'm sure other people have lost more. So it's not the worst thing. Effectively, in a way, got it for how much I paid for it, which is basically my intent. Like I was not trying to get a bunch of money for it. I just wanted it out of my possession and I wanted some cash for it so I could do other things. So that wasn't bad. No, the only way this works out is because I got the bag at a discount to begin with. Like if I had paid the American price for it plus tax, like I would have had to price it significantly higher, like that other person that priced it for $6,500, and it's still sitting on the website. So, you know, it's hard to resell these things at a profit unless you have something very rare. So definitely keep that in mind. I mean, it's nice to like get some money for something that you've used a little bit and no, you don't need anymore. But in terms of like flipping these luxury items, you know, that's something, you know, to give some pause to and to think about, because I don't think like the profitability is there, especially with the amount of fees that these online marketplaces are charging. Now, if you have some sort of like established like business or community or Instagram page where you can like avoid all the fees, then yeah, you can definitely make some money. But like for these other platforms, if you don't have those things, yeah, you're going to be paying a fee. So yeah, that's very interesting stuff. I don't think I will be buying or I will be selling any more luxury pieces like online. Like that was not worthwhile to me. So for that reason, I will be taking a little bit more care in what I decide to buy, because reselling is not a thing for me. So yeah, that's gonna be it, guys. Let me know if you have any questions about like the whole eBay process or anything I've said or any thoughts on anything. And thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time.